The most disrespected team in the NBA is the Detroit Pistons. Last season, they were the worst team in the league. In fact, they were so bad they lost 28 games in a row and finished the season with 14 wins and 68 losses. But this season, they were a top 10 team in the league and have tripled their wins from last season. How has that jump even been possible? Well, to end last season, the Pistons fired head coach Monty Williams and hired JB Bickerstaff, former Cavs head coach. They also hired Trajan Langdon to run their basketball operations. This helped build a good basketball franchise foundation. Hiring JB Bickerstaff was useful for them. He was known to unify teams on the court, especially as he was wrongly fired from the Cavs job after having 4 successful seasons. It made no sense, but this season he had a point to prove. But they needed to address a few issues from the season before. The next part focused on cleaning up issues from last year, one of which was shooting. So they acquired Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, and Tim Hardaway Jr., who were all rejects from their former teams. Tim Hardaway Jr. barely got minutes in the playoffs. Malik Beasley was nothing but a defensive liability on the Milwaukee Bucks. But Tobias Harris, the Sixers didn't want to re-sign him so they could re-sign Paul George. And guess what? He's producing better than Paul George this season. But that's a conversation for another day. Last season, the Pistons were last when it came to wide open three-point shooting, even when they had a spectacular point guard in Cade Cunningham. But we'll discuss his brilliance later. This season, the acquisition of those 3 players has greatly improved their three-point shooting. Now, Tobias Harris is no bona fide three-point shooter, nor is Tim Hardaway Jr., however, they can space the floor. Malik Beasley has been exceptional for them. Not only is he leading the league in three-pointers made, but he's also shooting it at 42%. He is a better shooter than Steph Curry this season, technically. He's leading the league in catch and shoot attempts, but he's also making more moving threes than any other player. And as I said, second is Steph Curry. Doing this has ultimately opened up the floor for Cade Cunningham, and he's averaging 25.7 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 9.2 assists a game. This year, he was an all-star, and he looks like the number 1 pick he was always meant to be. Put it this way, 9.2 assists is the most assists a player has averaged since 1987. The last player who did something like that was Isaiah Thomas, who is the all-time great Detroit Pistons player. Some even have him in their top 5 point guards of all time. On the court, he has a calm but fierce nature about him that allows him to operate pick and rolls under control. But also, he's able to get to the basket and finish crafty over defenders or create jump shots with ease at the 3-point line where he's shooting 37%. As a bigger guard, he's able to see over defenses. This allows him to make the right reads in transition or in the half-court set when defenses collapse on him. Not only that, but he is a mismatch for most players on a night-to-night basis. And even if he's not a mismatch, he can easily find one because he's bound to be bigger than someone on the court. This season, he's 3rd in triple-doubles with 9 behind Jokic and LeBron. He's an all-around player, and his leadership has been allowed to blossom with the players that have been put around him. And talking about the players around him, they have all bought in and locked in on defense. Last year, they were bottom 5 in defensive rating due to their lack of discipline and unity. This year, they're 1st in defensive rating since the trade deadline. They also lead the league in points on fast breaks, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't their ability to get stops that has helped aid this. Especially when you have players like Asar Thompson, who is a guaranteed lockup. His speed and explosiveness have allowed him to guard any player. His ability to play help-side defense also gives the team a whole nother dimension that you usually only get with bigs. And I'm also not going to forget Isaiah Stewart. And it hurts to say, but he may be the best backup center in the league. And his intimidating and childish behavior can be entertaining at some time. I'm not a huge fan of it, especially when you see him doing stuff like this.
The free throw line on the free throw, and he's still trying to get loose.
But you can't deny that his ability to guard the rim is better than 99.9% of the players in this league. Players are shooting 52% when he is guarding the rim. The only players that are doing this better than him, Victor Wembanyama and Daniel Gafford. I'd be lying if I said this didn't contribute to their 9-point reduction in points at the rim over 100 possessions. It's been the biggest improvement in the league so far. The acquisition of Dennis Schroeder to me initially made no sense, but he's actually a secondary playmaker, which is extremely helpful for them. Not only does he lightly space the floor, but he's an experienced vet that comes off the bench and can run a youthful offense. Let's also not forget about his ability to play defense. He can lock up when necessary because he's just a menace. He's a pest. And I actually think it opens the floor for Cade Cunningham. Not in the same way that shooters do, but it actually allows him to operate off the ball with another ball handler. And that means that Cade can now get points off pick and rolls or off cuts, etc., etc. Their defense has been great. And I think because they've got this chip on their shoulder, it makes them play defense a lot harder than the rest. Also, they're not scared of anyone. They've been bullied by the whole league last year. So this year, it's like Try and bully us. We don't care. We're just going to find a way to beat you and take the ball from you anyway. But with all this being said, do we think they can win a playoff series? The last time they won a playoff series was back in 2008. Well, the team does have unity. JB has been instrumental in getting the team to bond and play well with one another. When it comes to offense, the clear go-to guy is Cade Cunningham, and everyone falls in place. Now, they may not have a definitive secondary scorer, but Malik Beasley is second in scoring for that team. If it's not him, someone else will step up, because at the end of the day, the system allows everybody to eat. This team has a cohesive formula that allows them to play on two sides of the ball, especially when everybody is playing hard. This team has developed the maturity to understand that they need to get stops in order to run the break. And because they love running the break so much, they play that extra bit harder on defense. But as we know, in the playoffs, everything slows down and half-court offense is key. Without Cade, you think that they look a bit lost out there and it would be difficult for them to create something off the fly. I'd also worry about the fact that they are top 10 when it comes to turnovers a game, and you need to protect the ball, because if they were to go into the playoffs right now and went up against a team like the Pacers are not going to let them get away with turning over the ball that easily. They also have a record of about 10-20 against winning teams, and that might be a bit sketchy in the playoffs, especially when you're going up against teams that are experienced and know how to win a series. However, I have faith in this team's ability to play on two sides of the floor. When it comes to their offense, they have a system that keeps the defense moving. This means when Cade's in it, it's amazing. It's a bonus. But when you take Cade out of it, there's an organized form of offense that allows them to protect and play winning basketball. Not to mention, I believe in Malik Beasley's ability to shoot the ball. So he has a little gravitational pull that's also going to allow them to create when Cade's off the court. One thing I know about this team, though, is how they can shock you. They were down two starters of Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham, and they managed to beat the first seed Cleveland Cavaliers. Not only that, but 7 of their players were in double digits. Asar Thompson and Jalen Duran both had double-double games, and Tim Hardaway Jr. had 38 points to lead the team in scoring, hitting 7 threes. I cannot lie, this team will put it together and find a way to beat teams. On the defensive end, they have been one of the best teams since the All-Star break. Heading into the playoffs, that means against those teams that are above 500, I still think they have a strong chance in fighting their way and winning those games. And let's not forget, in the playoffs, you need to win 4 games to win the series. That could prove to be very difficult against a team that has something to prove. Thank you very much, guys, for getting to the end of this video. If you liked it, please subscribe. And also, what are your thoughts? Do you think that they could win a playoff series? I'm still not sure, but I want to hear your arguments down below. Peace. Until next time.